All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Gabe, Goose, Heck, Kristen, and Shane. Versatile Cleaning Services. In this episode, we have special guests Shane Davis and Krystyn Hopkins. We cover topics that range from entrepreneurship, small business, motivation, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Alex Campbell and W. Clement Stone. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, Shane, Krystyn, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, so let's jump right into it. So If you want to introduce yourself and then introduce Krystyn, for those of us who do not know who you are and what you do, let us know.
Well, I'm Shane Davis, and this is Krystyn Hopkins. She's also my assistant, and I consider her to be my boss, somebody to keep me organized since there's so much going on.
Yeah.
But I will say, before getting started, if you don't mind, I take podcasts very serious. I think what you guys do in that industry is really important for the culture. The information that you guys can get out, you know, if you call this 15, 20 years ago, you had like Oprah, and it was only select few people that you really couldn't connect to. So right. I'm very thankful. I'm a thankful person in general, but I'm very thankful to be on this and hopefully be able to provide some sort of information, some sort of value, and it should be fun.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, we'll pay him later for that one. All right, so let's jump right in.
Yeah, so I'm Shane Davis. I'm from this town called Bristol Borough, a historical town. This is a town that I always enjoyed, a town that I get a lot of love and support from. I know there's not that many people here, between 9,772 people to 10,210 people, so I love numbers. But
that's a lot. That was like very specific.
I'm sorry. That's just, hey, I take business serious, but no.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a great town. It's a town where I feel as though there's a lot of intelligent people, a lot of geniuses. There's a lot of creation in this town that I find to be really awesome, and I'm glad to be a part of the business community, and hopefully, you know, I could, you know, provide some sort of change with what I'm doing and what I plan to do down the road. Again, I'm a guy from this town. I was a big brother in this community. I've also helped people get off the streets, and I brought them into my house personally to show, you know, the love and the care, because I feel like the love and the care goes a lot further than just, hey, here's this dollar, go ahead and take care of what you need to take care of. And I also I'm going to be all over the place, but
absolutely.
I also have a best friend who wasn't supposed to live past the age 2, so that's where a lot of my motivation comes from. But he's now 31. His name is Kenny Mowat. It goes like this: you see Shane, you see Kenny, you see Kenny, you see Shane. But he's someone that had some sort of learning disability. He's completely fine now. But although I was not the biggest fan of school, I would come home every single day and give him the information that I learned in school to give to him, because I didn't want him to feel left out or people, you know, try to take advantage of him. So I just love giving and helping people. I really enjoy it.
All right, so at what point were you just, you know, sitting around having a conversation with somebody that you're saying, you know, obviously you mentioned that you love numbers. At what point were you deciding, I want to start my own business, I want to venture off? Was it something that you just did on your own, started on your own, and grew the team that way, and then obviously grew it to what it is now? Or explain how that works.
Yeah, so I always felt different when I was very, very young. I always felt like I couldn't just do one thing. I feel like a person's not meant to do just one thing. Yeah. And I have a strong mind, and my parents always backed me up. I have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So I am who I am, but in a respectful manner. But I always wanted to be involved in business. I think entrepreneurial is in my blood, and entrepreneur is in my blood. So how Versatile actually started back in 2016 when I was in the auto industry. So when I actually jumped into the auto industry, and I tried to tell people this, a lot of the your moves and the things you do start with that thought become things. Yeah. I just knew if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. So for example, I was working 2 jobs, one at Pet Value, one at Restaurant Depot, and I got let go of both jobs. So I had to think to myself, why did I get let go? It's the common denominator here. Yeah. Well, I would always go to the boss and provide some sort of information like, hey, maybe if we do this, we can save money here. We can do this,
Yeah.
which leads into, okay, what is this guy really up to?
Yeah.
So that's just how I took it anyway.
Right,
so
right.
So then I went over to Reedman Toll, and my parents weren't too happy about it at first because they're the older generation. It's they instantly think sales, and you got it. The whole stereotypical thing. Or I had a job lined up at Roman Haas, but I just knew I wanted to do a little more. I wanted to use my brain a little bit more and figure this out. So when I got involved in that, I started off as a greeter, a guy that was sweet, but I had a plan. I told myself I'm only going to be involved for 5 years, and I'm going to stick to the script. So I'm real disciplined to that. So after like 2 weeks of me being a greeter, I guess they valued me a little bit more. Yeah. Which is cool. I eventually started to sell cars, and I personally think I was set up to fail, but it's cool. Shout out Jim Hughes. He's cool. He brought me into sales, no real training. I just went in and led the company. That helped my confidence. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think people need to understand you need to start making the decisions for yourself rather than making the decisions based off of somebody else. And stick to it. Just do the little thing. The little things equal so much. I went through all that, and once I sold my first car out of service, I wasn't even on the showroom floor. Once I sold my first car, I kind of put together like this little formula called the Real Uncle Sam, which is SAM, which is sales, advertising, and marketing. Okay. And if you got those 3 keys, you're gonna be financially okay. Yeah. But if you're doing it in a mirror where you have the morals, it can go so far. You know what I mean? So once I got involved in that, I start to understand money. I start to understand people. I start to understand the points and the things you got to do to get ahead. I always told myself, from a kid, I wouldn't. I would not do something that's out of my character for the dollar. That's just not who I am. But so it started with that. I didn't want to do just a simple business where I'm doing just a linear thing. I'd had to do multiple. So 2016, again, after I sold the car, I was like, okay, I can do this. The only thing they gave me was a desk and a computer, and I had to make my own business. And I was happened to be very successful. So then I went into the finance, and that's when the game changed, because then I was able to get in people's faces. I have no problem asking, hey, how can I do this? Yeah. So I'll get in people's faces. I'll learn credits, finance, special finance, banks, and so on and so forth. Now I got relationships with, from your small credit unions to your Wells Fargos to Allies and so on and so forth. Tons and tons of banks. So it just made me that much more valuable. But on top of it all, it just gave me more and more confidence to do something. So I took all of that and said, you know what? I had the 5-year plan. I'm going to start Versatile. Versatile, if you look at it from afar, it's almost like a small business, the starting business. I've reverse engineered it where Versatile is the last business, and I'm trying to get to a point. And I feel like if you reverse engineer a lot of the stuff you'll do, your process is going to be a little bit easier. It's not going to be overnight. Like I said, I started this back in 2016, but I launched it in 2021. Okay. You do the math, that's the 5 years. Yeah. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah. All right. So how did you start with yourself and then all of a sudden expand to have employees?
So it's simple. So again, you have to have a plan for everything. So I told myself, Shane, you cannot be in this field longer than 2 months, because if you're in the field longer than 2 months, you're losing business. Your business isn't growing. Yeah. It depends on what type of business. If you're just someone that's just trying to put together a business and you're just out here just trying to make the money, I get that, because you don't have to pay those extra employees. Sure. But if you're someone like me, and I was blessed to be put in a situation where I was making great money and it wasn't satisfying. So I said, I gotta do something a little bit different. So I gave myself a plan and worked extremely hard. I mean, I'd start at 9 in the morning, my day job, and won't get done until about 10:30. Then from 10:30 to 11:30, I'm at the gym. From that point, I'll get home about 12. I'll check on my fiance. At the time, she was my girlfriend, also my high school sweetheart. But I'll check on her, and 9 out of 10 times she sleep. And then I'll go right up in my office and just work till about 3 in the morning and repeat the process. You got to understand, if you really want something, you really want to change, you can't just expect it and waste time. The time is valuable. So yeah, I just had a plan in place, and I shut out all the noise. I don't care what.
Yeah.
I care for my customers first, my employees. Everything else is just flows. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
So how did you get your first customer?
So let's run it back to the industry. Before I had my license, I contacted over 300 people before I had my license, let them know, hey, this is when I'm going to have my license. Same thing I did in Versatile. Hey, I'm going to be creating a business. And with me being in finance, jumping from Reedman Toll to FC Kerbeck. FC Kerbeck to me is the upper echelon. So, you're getting some big time people through those doors, and you have to go through me. So at that point, I was talking to them, pitching them, getting their feelings. And the minute that I put it up on Facebook, it's just been a blessing since. It's just been rolling. Yeah.
So do you remember what your first gig was?
Absolutely, yeah. I lost a ton of money, but I was but I was happy. I was excited because you know what? She was happy. Yeah. And that's just great. She's happy. And it's something so simple. So then, yeah.
So it's funny. So, but you knew at that point you can grow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All it takes is just a consistency, a belief, and just keep going. 90% of business to me is it's just mental. Your philosophies, the psychology behind it, understanding your customer, knowing how to connect. Just tons of different things. The value's got to be there if you want this to be for the long game. You just can't start a business just to start a business and not have that plan, not being it for your heart, because then it's just something to do.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So Krystyn, outside looking in, before you jump onto the team, what are you seeing?
So I didn't really know anything about the company before I started. My sister told me like a little bit about it, because he does a lot of things with her company, which is the YWCA. So once I heard about it, I was just like, it sounds like a cool place to work and everything like that. And then I jumped on board, and probably the best decision ever.
There you go.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. All right. So what do you think? So it's been a fast year, right?
Year and a half. This is my first.
A lot of movement, right?
Yeah, tons and tons of movements. It's my first technically full year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what do you think one of your biggest lessons learned during this year would be?
This year, I don't know, and I'm gonna be honest, is because the planning is very strategic. I stick to the script, one foot in front of the other. As far as any lessons, I would say, I want to keep my his advice, but make sure you got to build him first.
Yeah.
But because you'll run out of space if you're scaling properly. So
explain a little bit about maybe your favorite part about being an entrepreneur.
Favorite part about being an entrepreneur is understanding that I have the time to try to utilize my business and future businesses and things that I'm putting together now to build a community within a community. So when I'll jump back to when I had created Versatile, it was, I'd be lying to you if I told you it was one reason,
Sure.
But the main reason is because I understood the market of real estate, and I understood, okay, I have an opportunity to throw a splash of business in here that offers, XYZ as far as the services go, on a scale that I know no one else is doing it from the point of the customer service. That's just one point of it.
So Krystyn, talk a little bit about maybe the importance of being organized or organizing a day to be successful.
It's definitely have to be organized, because if we have an organized day, it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
We try to knock out like 3 to 4 jobs a day. So, if we start slow on the first job, the rest of our day is going to be messed up, and then we got to keep pushing the jobs and everything. So it's very important for us to be organized as the multi-service company that we are.
Yeah. So how are you guys communicating with the customers throughout the day? Are you reaching out to them saying, if some, for whatever reason, even if it's, whether it's your fault or not, something gets pushed back, let's say 20 minutes or something, are you constantly in communication with them?
Well, we're in too much communication. Yeah. It's very important. They need to know what's going on. We're at their throne, so you got to respect it. You got to respect the time. Constant communication before, middle, after. You're going to know who's going to show up to your front door. You're going to know who you're going to sign the paperwork with. You're going to know, the exact time that they're going to pull up. If we're late, you're getting a text message, you're getting a phone call, you might get an email. But I think it's important because it's just a respect thing. And in this industry, and it drives me up a wall. This industry, these people that are so talented don't really get the respect, if you ask me, because those people are, if it wasn't for like your local contractors and your demolition companies and people with trades. You don't have this facility. The things you want clean out of your house there's an emotion attached to it. You see the clutter, you're going to be upset. You have to respect that person that's coming in there and removing it. So it's a lot deeper than just the services, and it's deep on the communication side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We talk a lot about almost the returning customers.
Right.
Do you guys have any returning customers, or anybody, or at least shares your business card with someone else, maybe like a neighbor or family or friend?
Absolutely. We have tons of customers that refer us. We have tons of customers that use us over and over. Word of mouth has been great for us, but I don't allow that just to be the one avenue. Okay. I'll try different things. There's a bunch of trial and error when you're in business. So, man, you think you got me started. It's being an entrepreneur in a business, it's an infinite game. So how I try to explain this is like, you're going for an interview. I don't think it's fair for the person that's on the opposite side that I'm interviewing not to feel, okay to ask me questions. You got to, because you got to know what's going on. Right. And that's why I also feel like people with jobs, they're not too happy because they don't understand, the leadership. Is this something that I can grow? Is this something that I can do? Is this business an infinite business? Is this just, what is it? Yeah. But
it's good that you went there, because marketing is very interesting nowadays. Yeah. Spending $100,000 on a billboard on 95 may be effective for a particular business, but not every business. And I'm not sure every small business per se has $100,000 to drop on marketing. So, what are some of the things you guys are doing on social media to promote?
Our marketing, I'll just jump in that since you brought it up. Our marketing is a storyteller. So if you follow us in our marketing, through like a Facebook, we'll say, it's telling the story. You follow the season, you're following the guys, you're following the jobs, you're following our customers, you're following what they're saying. Everything is real life. Google and stuff like that is great, but it just, the marketing just, it has to tell a story. It has to make sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when you want to expand even further, explain. We talk a lot about, like, my brother Miguel owns Miguel's Riverside Barbershop here, and we talk about hiring employees and how they're representing you in your business, and the difficulty in, I guess, being selective, not just hiring anybody. Obviously, you want to help everybody, but some things just don't make sense. It's probably not the best fit.
Sure.
Or maybe I guess refer them to someone else. So explain a little bit about that, or maybe what you would like to do maybe in the future. Do you incorporate, because I was part of an interview process where they were incorporating the team that was they were getting a new boss, and they were part of the interview process. And I thought it was probably one of the dopest things I've ever seen, because they were part of it, right? Yep. And so when the person's hired, it's like, wait a minute, we didn't just hire no random person. You were part of this process. You're allowed to give input. What are your thoughts on that?
It's great. So that is actually our thought. Just because I may think they're great doesn't mean they're great. They're also trying to sell a little bit too.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I'll purposely bring a person, it's what we just was talking about, purposely bring a person back maybe 5 times. Yeah. And the reason why doing something like that, okay, you're happy the first time.
Yeah, of course.
The second time. The third time, I'm kind of getting to know you. The fourth time, okay. But it's not just me. It could be her. Absolutely. It's my guys, because at the end of the day, I'm over here doing what I have to do. I don't necessarily have to deal with that. I do, but not to that extent. So, my guys are very involved, very, very involved in the process of hiring and knowing, does this person really fit for the team or not? There's been times where I should have hired, people instantly, but the process is the process, and I won't change it just because we're short. We'll still get the job done, and we'll still achieve that job.
Yeah. So there's a common thread in this conversation, and it for me, it's almost like it's discipline.
Absolutely.
Explain a little bit about the importance of discipline, whether it's your personal life or your professional life, whatever, but its significance to your success.
Yeah. So it's habits. So you create the better. Every day is a choice. So, I know that's the cliche thing to say, but no, it's the truth. Every day is a choice. Everything you do is a choice. And you gotta just stick to your script. Discipline is one of the most difficult thing to stick to, because you got that other person in your ear that's saying, nah, you know what, you're tired. Nah, you don't want to read this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to have to travel. You don't want to have to wake up at XYZ. But at the end of the day, it's also building your confidence on the other side, because you said, you know what, I did this and I got it done. So you just feel better as a whole person. Yeah. So if you really want to challenge yourself, do some discipline and just say.
I love it. Yeah. So I was having a conversation over the weekend. Me and my wife were celebrating 10-year wedding anniversary. Shout out to my wife, Kelly. But anyway, in a conversation that I was having, I was talking about my sons. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I was saying how they watch everything I do. In a positive way. And I was saying sometimes, you could bring your work, maybe not having the best day, you could bring that home with you. And I check myself, 99% of the time I try to check myself before I walk into the house. Let's not put that on them. Sometimes we don't realize we're role models for people. What are your thoughts on that, where maybe it could be a time of struggle even, and there's people watching, maybe like young teenagers watching your every move. You don't even know it.
Sure.
And it's like, I know someone's watching. I know why I'm doing this, but sometimes that helps.
Absolutely. To me, that helps a lot. A struggle to me stems from a stress factor that you didn't take care of when you had an opportunity to. You kind of just lack off on it, and it just becomes your struggle. So it all comes down to relaxing your mind and understand, who's watching, and how it can affect. I mean, I think I do extremely well as far as dividing up the two. If I have something going on at home, they won't know, because that has nothing to do with them. Right. If I got something going on at work, well, hey, I can talk to my fiance about it, but it's not like I really can just control the way I think and filter out this stuff that I don't think is necessary for that time. Yeah. I think that's very important, because especially with all the stuff that's out on the internet, is so quick. Kids are so quick to go pick that stuff up, where if they can see someone that they may know, like myself and you guys and all that, and if you guys can really just stick to that script as far as dividing up the two, life is beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so let's flip that. What is probably one of the toughest things about running a small business?
Toughest thing about running a small business, not knowing enough. Yeah. Sometimes things are just completely out of your hands. Control what you can control.
Yeah, we had a conversation. I believe it was last week, and we were talking about taking action. And sometimes when you have a small business, or even just an idea, and you're overthinking things, like, good Lord, just take action, do something. And we were talking about recalibrating maybe like a firearm or something. It's like, even if you had the bullseye and you're off, why do you think they have a scope to just make that adjustment? Yeah. But you wouldn't know what adjustment to make if you didn't fire, right? Sure. And so we're talking about how that is true for our lives. It's like, yeah, dude, maybe I'm not, I have the best regimen for working out, but did I even do any push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups today? You know what I mean? It's like, how am I, you have to start somewhere. And that goes with everything, eating right, running a small business, even like your relationships.
Yeah. So like with my team, we do meetings once a month.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Once a month, we'll hold a meeting and we'll discuss, why did something happen. And one of my things is to how comfortable do you want to sleep?
Yeah.
Did you really put in that work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you really lock in?
Absolutely.
And only you'll know that. So
absolutely.
Once you ask somebody and they start to blink and give you all of this, you know that they really didn't put in that work. So you pull them aside and you reset. You don't have to always do some sort of disciplinary act. Come on.
Yeah. I
believe in you. Let's do this. It's we're a team, and just when I brought you on, I may not know everything,
of course,
but I definitely respect what you're gonna bring. But I gotta make sure that you're right for sure.
Right. I love it. So obviously you're a pretty positive person. You had great parents, which absolutely helps. Same thing with us. We got blessed with good parents.
Absolutely.
But what is something that maybe you took from your parents as a learning lesson that you carry with you on a regular?
I could start with my dad.
Yeah.
I can start with my dad. This stems from sports. So I come from a very competitive family, and I love it. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But one of his things was whenever I was at like the foul line or whatever it was there's no such thing as pressure. It doesn't matter who's watching, what they're saying, how loud the person's screaming or whatever. Yeah. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my biggest things, and I'll always remember that. My mother, you know how mothers are. My mother, man, she's one of her things was, and she still says it still to this day, I may call her, talk to her about the business, and she'll just say, like, remember to just stay humble. As quick as you got it, you can lose it. Take care of the people that are not in your position, and respect others. So I kind of just mix in those two, and I guess that's where you get Shane. I guess I don't know.
I love it. Krystyn, I want you to jump in. What about you? Anything that you carry with you, maybe a family member or a friend said to you on a day-to-day basis that you think about and just pushes you to keep going?
It's really just my kids. I have 3 kids. We've had it rough the past couple of years, so just them being there just keeps me going every day.
Absolutely.
And then I get to be with this guy all the time, so makes it better.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. It was so funny, man. So one day I had one of the roughest days at work, and I didn't want to say anything. Like I said, I'm trying to check myself. I'm in a car, whatever. And I walk in, and my youngest just runs up to me and just says, "Dad, I missed you," or whatever. It was something like that. It was like one of those things. Bro, I forgot about my day. I forgot about it. Right. I'm like, yo, this is... Right. He checked me, basically. He didn't know he did. Right. But I'm like, dude, that was the best thing ever. And it's like... And it was the same thing. It's like a cliche thing, but it's when you look at them, or you look at a family member, a fiance, a spouse, whatever, it just... something clicks and it just makes sense. All right, like, you know what? I'm going to have to like take a shower, get this off me. But, and this is why you do it. But speaking of that, what is something that motivates you on a daily basis?
Motivates me on a daily basis is the fact that I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
That motivates me. What was done today is done today. Tomorrow I got to look at it and be like, okay, that's what we got done. I got to keep going. Yeah. And I got to keep going because, like you said earlier, there might be a kid, there might be someone that's out there watching you. So you got to lead by example. Speaking of lead, when I was 17, and I don't know if anybody else received this letter, but I got a letter from Washington to be a part of like Lead America, but I didn't really understand Lead for America. I'm sorry, I didn't really understand it, but now that I'm older, I see the that leadership thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And another thing is, like, if you were a part of some level of organization or a school or a school district, a college, whatever, and they're reaching out to you, man, if you can like help participate in whatever that is, to motivate the kids, because I think we all want better for the future, right? And they are the future. And to give back somebody who's standing in front of them, who made good on their word, who made good on their life and everything they say. Right. Now, doesn't make it that it was easy, doesn't make it that it was, cakewalk or anything like that, but doing it what I would say the right way, in a humble way, is probably the most gratifying, and it's so true.
It is.
There's I think it's Ben Franklin. It was a quote. It's an old school quote. It says, "Don't leave for tomorrow what you could have done today."
Right.
And that is like something to that extent. I don't know if I said it, the way exactly how he said it, but it sits on the back of my mind. Like, because you were saying that, you were touching on that earlier. Can I lay my head tonight? If not, the problem is I'm going to be, my issue, we talk about this all the time, I can't sleep. I'm going to be staring at that ceiling. Damn, I should have did that.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. You got to. What they say, the hypothesis is only true unless it's been experimented. And that's the truth, So you just got to just do it. I wanted to touch on something you just said about the whole being humble. And if I can just provide some sort of advice to anybody that's trying to do anything, you don't ever want to get too high on yourself. You don't ever want to get too low on yourself, especially when you're in the process of building something on the upward. Kind of just want to be, okay, that's great, we accomplished it. Now let's keep doing this over and over and over and over, because anybody can hit a home run, but how consistent can you hit the home run? Which is another sports thing. But yeah, you just got to tunnel vision, lock in, and go to work, man.
It's so true, man. We were watching baseball, watching the Phillies.
Please don't ask me nothing about the Phillies.
No.
I know we were winning though.
It was something. My son, who's very into sports, who's only 8,
right?
And but he could tell you stats about every player, whatever. Every time someone came up, he's like, "Come on, dinger, hit a dinger." I'm like, dude, every time someone comes up, they don't need to hit a home run. That's not necessary. And I forget who was batting, but I'm like, if he just gets a base hit, that sets up the next batter. Just get base hits, right? And the exact same thing happened. Harper hits his 2-run dinger or whatever. Right. And it was like, he's looking at me. He's like, yeah, you're right. And it's basically impossible for every player to hit a home run. And it's like, at the same time, you got to know your role. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all here, the reason why we've been doing this for 6.5 years is because each of us has a role. Heck came in, told you exactly what he was doing. Obviously, Gabe's a tech guy, and obviously I'm having a conversation with the guest.
Right.
And so we all accept our roles. We know our roles. We love our roles.
That's beauty.
Yeah, and that's awesome. What makes, I think, the teamwork. And I think watching used to, I'm like, that's a successful business. You could tell she definitely probably keeps you in check on the Absolutely. And so you need that though, but she understands her role, you understand your role, your team understands their role. Explain a little bit about when you are launching your year in, and you obviously have a plan, but how you maintain the work-life balance, or is there work-life balance?
No. I'm not gonna lie to you. No, me and my fiance, obviously we live together, but we don't really see each other. She knows how I am, and like Kobe Bryant says, when you're in season, don't bother me. That's for real. I don't joke around with that, because I got other people that want to do better, and if they see me slacking off, how can I tell you you're slacking off? You know what I mean? So but the work-life balance, no, there's no work-life balance. Majority of people, and that's them, they'll work, the Monday through Friday and then do the weekends. Right. No, that's extra credit. You gotta get that. You gotta get that. And that's how you become better as an individual, and that's how you're able to grow the business that you want, you know what I mean? And you as that leader, man, you really just have to lock in and leave no questions. It's not a joke, you know what I mean? So I don't really have that work-life balance.
All right, so talk a little bit about motivation, because you got excited.
So motivation to me is like a 90-day workout plan. I feel like you have it for 90 days, then it's off. So we go back to the motivation about what keeps me going every single day is looking back at that day before. But if you have something that you need to go back to every single day, that I don't really consider that a motivation. It's just, I want to stay the hell away from, I want to stay away from that. I just want to continue to get better. But motivation to me is almost like putting a Band-Aid on on stitches. It's just not going to work. You're going to be good for the first couple of months. get disciplined, and build better habits, do things every single day. I'm serious, man. If it takes you 12 steps to get to the fridge, do it in 10.
Yeah.
Like literally the little stuff. Go to the gym, work on yourself, see what you can do it the right way, keep it clean. Speaking of clean, I don't eat clean or nothing like that, but just keep the plan clean, and you don't really need that motivation, because at that, you're just facing that person in the mirror, and if you're better than that person every single day in the mirror, like, that's all you need. That's all you need.
So where would you like to see Versatile in 2023? What is it, like a 1 year out? You saw 1 year, what 1 year out might look like?
1 year out in 2023, I would definitely like to have more vehicles on the trucks. More vehicles on the trucks. More vehicles on the road. I think we're doing pretty well there now, but let's double it. I would like to see that. I would like to see Versatile starting the process of giving back. I'm actually in the process of putting something together that I really can't speak on yet, but I'm putting something together that I feel as though it's going to be really, really, really impactful. And it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. It's going to take at least 4 to 8 years, but it's in the works now. And this goes back to what I'm saying. You got to put the work in, so it's that machine rolls. But so as far as a Versatile goal, so I have like a 6 month, I got all sorts of goals, but 6 months goal and a yearly goal. I definitely want to make sure I have more trucks on the road. I want to definitely be get the team involved in more community stuff. I'm already got them involved as far as like the credit side and understanding their credit, and what it can do for you and how far it can take you, and not just the basics of you spend XYZ 35%, that 30%. I can talk about that too. So but so it's more or less my business has a lot of goals, but I also have a lot of the goals in what they want to do mixed in Versatile, and I definitely want to make sure that we're in a building in a good location where I'm an hour out from almost everything.
So like the tri-state area or the city or Bucks County.
More so if I could just plop and you can pick up the radius somewhere up in the somewhere up in between Doylestown, somewhere up there, because that's what 35, 40. That's where you're at.
Central Bucks. No,
yeah. Up in that area. Yep. It's 35 minutes up that way, 35 minutes here, and that's the goal. Yep.
Centralize yourself.
Absolutely,
I got you. Two questions that I wanted to ask in the beginning, and I totally forgot, and it just made me think of it hearing you talk, was how did you come up with the name Versatile, and how did you come up with the logo? I know this might sound basic, but I get emails and asking for references on, who should I go for logo work? And then myself, I'm always just fascinated with artwork and things like that.
No. That's a really good question, because I feel like that's like so the first 7 to 15 seconds of someone looking at something is really important. It's either going to catch them, or they're either going to like it or not going to like it. So it took me, from 2016, I think it took me about 2 years to actually come up with that finding the right symbol and then the right color combination, because the colors didn't speak to you. So it shows, like, when you look at the logo, okay, are they involved in construction a little bit? It looks a little bit of elegant. It looks clean. It's simple, three simple colors. You don't want to overdo it. So the symbol itself took me about 2 years to make it make sense. And Versatile, it goes back to what I said. I don't think a person is meant to do just one thing. And where I want Versatile to go down the road, that makes the most sense because of what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely.
With the business, for sure. A lot of people don't understand why I went from the finance director guy to being involved in this industry. Well, without talking too much, the plans and stuff, but Versatile, it will be involved in a lot of, like I said, some land and some real estate and all sorts of things. But it goes back to what I said about doing the little things. I didn't want to just jump into something so huge and not understand the foundation. So when you build something, you want to build a good foundation. You can't start on the third floor and think you can just go from that point. So Versatile is a foundation of something that's just going to lead into more things. But I got to make sure that core is good, and I got to make sure I got a solid team around me and so on and so forth.
Building blocks.
Yeah.
I love it.
So.
All right, so before we get into our last question, is there any topic you wanted to hit that we did not yet hit? If not, how can folks reach out to you?
Reach out to me. Well, let's see what topic. Now, I feel like we definitely touched the most important things. I would just like to provide some sort of advice to people, and that's just to cancel out the noise. As far as like the younger entrepreneurs go, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but just for them to lock in and gamble on themselves. I never understood, and I can say this, I was the guy in the office with the desk with the name. You're going to come to me to make a decision for you, and I just met you.
Yeah.
Make the decision on yourself and listen to your intuition, because that's not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
That's going to be what it is. But I think everyone, especially now, how sensitive things are, and the opportunities are huge, and you have this internet, and I got excited when he was talking about IT, because I love the whole computer thing and what you can do with it. It's endless. So I feel like people need to just get out their little comfort zone, stop worrying about what somebody got to say, and just go ahead and do something. Study, read, do something that's different. You're doing something every single day that you don't want to do anyway. Might as well do something for you.
Yeah.
So
You said this would be the final question of the day, but you said something that I unknowingly did early on in my career. You said block out the noise. I always said I just got away from the distractions. I didn't even know I wasn't even purposely doing it.
Hey.
It was just like it was getting too loud, and I'm like, hang on, I need to focus on what I need to do, and I just like zoned in and never zoned back out, so to speak. So can you speak on the importance of eliminating distractions as much as possible to achieve your goal?
yeah, why would you want to put energy towards something that ain't really got nothing to do with you?
Absolutely.
Or put energy towards someone that don't know you, or put energy into something. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary energy that you can put on yourself, your team, and other people.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it is a difficult thing to do when you are dealing with a lot. But go in a room, close your eyes, meditate for a minute, something. You know, figure out who you are. That's really important. And I'm telling you, I can keep talking about all sorts of things. But yeah, man, people need to step out their comfort zone and lock in and understand. Sleep to me is essential, but if you want to live a fulfilled life, you gotta put the work. You gotta go towards what you want. Not everybody. It always starts off like this. Oh, they're not gonna believe in you. Oh, well, what are you doing? Hey, can I jump on? It happens every single time.
Yeah.
So if you know that, man, hey, what the heck,
Yeah.
Do you make sure if you're gonna get involved in something, it's from the heart. Don't keep the money first. Like, for example, I'm sure everybody here is going to agree with me, but I can write you $1 million check and say, here, this is you. You're gonna take it, right? But then I say tomorrow you're gonna die. All right, so then you just told me you value time, so that's your number one. So then I'll say to you, okay, well, look, I'll write you another check, but then your mama or your son or your dog or whatever has to pass away. You're gonna say no, so that's love. So that's two things that you value above money than anything else. So put those two together, figure some things out. It's almost like everybody in here has once been a kid and has still those kid things about them. We are curious. Don't kill your curiosity. Be curious and try different things and literally see what happens. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Not saying try anything, because then you could lead yourself into some stuff. But try things. Just try it. Majority of people won't try things because they're worried about what somebody else may say or may think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Versatile can blow up. You think I'm going to care what anybody here thinks? No, I'm going to go do it again. It's a part of the process. You also hear people say, well, my credit's jacked up. You can fix credit. Just got to be patient with that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got kids. That's your motivation, right? They're not going nowhere. That's what I said to you earlier. Hey, that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's your kid. You're going to see them every single day. Use that.
Yeah.
Use that. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. None. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Krystyn, you got any parting words?
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, no, that's important. That's important. What's the handle?
But versatile _ cleaning LLC. Or you can just go to Google and type in Versatile Cleaning Service LLC, and I'm pretty sure our Facebook and the Instagram will pop up. You can keep it simple like that too.
Okay.
And yeah, give us a call. You'll never have to worry about calling us, and you're not going to receive a phone call back if we don't answer. You'll never have to worry about you don't ever have to worry about someone saying that they're going to be somewhere and they're not. my word is my everything, and I built this business off of my word. So you can't mess with that.
Love
you
it.
know, because people are involved, man. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I love it. Well said. All right. Well, we like to wrap things up with quotes, and the first one is by W. Clement Stone. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. And the second one by Alex Campbell. We must carefully examine change so that we are able to discard those aspects of change which would be detrimental to our way of life, and at the same time take advantage of those aspects of change which will enhance and improve the quality of our life.
All right.
Versatile Cleaning Services. In this episode, we have special guests Shane Davis and Krystyn Hopkins. We cover topics that range from entrepreneurship, small business, motivation, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Alex Campbell and W. Clement Stone. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.